What's up everyone? AJ on Day Trader Boom or Bust here with today's recap. I hope you had a great weekend. As for me, it is back to the drawing board because I feel that my results over the past couple of months have been disappointing and inconsistent at best, if not just really poor and frustrating. So I took some time this weekend and I have narrowed it down to three main areas that I feel have really prevented me from being successful, or at least continuing to progress. So I've developed a direct plan of attack and some rules to address these that I'm going to implement diligently over the next little bit that will hopefully put me back on track to continuing to improve as a trader. So let's talk about that. This is today's watch list. I post this every day between 9 and 9:15 a.m. on my Twitter. If you want to make sure to catch that, give me a follow at AJ Tabayan. On the primary list for today, I had Baba that was trading on news, and I had Apple and PLTR as continuation plays, and Mara as a crypto play. And then on the secondary list, I had BA based off of the daily chart, and I had LCID and WIN as continuation plays, and Nvidia as a gapper. So the reason I feel I need to go back to the drawing board at this time, in addition to obviously just looking back at the last 2 months, was because of Friday. It really was the straw that broke the camel's back. If you follow the channel, you'll know I didn't post a recap on Friday, and that was because, quite frankly, I was just really hot and I definitely just needed to kind of step away because I ended up taking nearly a 6R loss that day, and I really was done with being frustrated, and I really wanted to see progress, and I felt that I needed to pinpoint exactly what was preventing me from progressing. I don't feel I was I don't feel I was trading terribly, but I definitely know I was doing things wrong enough, so much that I wasn't improving anymore, and if anything, I was definitely starting to backpedal or backtrack. So the three areas that I feel I need to address, the one and most important is one you've heard me talk about, is overtrading, and I'm tired of just talking about it, and I really need to do something about it. And specifically, I need to develop the discipline to just not do it. So the other area that I need to address is trading at various times where my data is showing me that I don't have an edge. So I'm going to be addressing that. And the last area that I need to address is my win-loss percentage. Again, it's something else I know I've talked about, but I don't really feel that I've dedicated a focused effort on improving on that. So the first thing about overtrading is very simple. I have limited myself to a specific number of trades every single day. And that goes hand in hand with improving, or at least knowing where I'm at with my win percentage, because the only way I'm going to know where I'm at with my win percentage is to have something that's consistent to measure it by. When I say that, I can't have days where I take 2 or 3 trades and then other days where I'm completely blowing it out of the park with like 16 and 20 trades, and I'm blowing out of the park in the bad way by overtrading. So right now I'm focused on taking only 6 trades a day. Obviously, if I don't see opportunities, I may take less, but I'm definitely not going to take more. So 6 trades a day is the absolute limit, and I have to be disciplined to stick to that. Now, that does mean that, I I'm aware and I'm fully prepared that in a whole trading week, if I took 6 trades and they were all losers, full 1 hour losers for the day, that would be 30R in the red for the week, which is a pretty significant number. Now, I really don't believe I'm going to take 6 losers every single day. But what I'm saying, I guess, is that I have mentally prepared myself for the fact that if that happens, that happens. But I'm not going to look at my P&L and base my emotions and trading off that, because in my mind, I've already put up that ante of 30R for the week. That, bottom line is 6 trades a day. I'm not going to go over that. That's a hard rule. And I'm also, like I said, I think it's going to really show me exactly where I'm at with my win percentage, so that I can really start building a new data set and making improvements based off of that data. And as far as the times with which I don't have an edge, looking back over the past couple months, the opening range, the 1 minute in particular, trading in the first couple minutes of the day has been pretty disastrous for me. So I'm really focused on eliminating that. Now, that's not to say I'm not going to take opening ranges if they present themselves, which you'll see today. I did take one, but definitely not unless I am I can't say 100%, but I'm very confident that in the setup, and definitely not within the first couple of minutes, because it's clear that that has not been working for me. And the other thing is trading in the extremely low volume period between 11 a.m. and really most of the afternoon. I just don't seem to have a trade book that is effective for that. So I won't be taking trades in that time unless there is a very, very clear setup. And I'll talk about that if I ever do take a trade. So let's talk about today. As you can see today, I'm really happy, first and foremost, because I stopped at 6 trades today. And my last trade, as you can see here, was at around 12:16. So you can see that there was opportunities to trade after that, but I that may not seem like a big deal for a lot of you out there, and I respect you if you already have that kind of discipline. For me, it's clearly something I need to work on, so I'm proud of that, and I got to take this one day at a time. The second thing is my win percentage, and my target win percentage right at this point is actually 50%. I know I've been talking about 40%, but I really believe that I can trade if I'm very disciplined and hit 50% a win percentage, which is going to be huge, really, for my end results and my overall progress, assuming that I'm continuing to keep, my winners at minimum 2R and my losers at maximum 1R. So, today you can see 33% win percentage. It's actually a little less than that because there's a couple of break-even trades. That one that was this $0 trade that was, I guess, labeled as a winner. But, we'll talk about how, break-even trades actually factor in. And in a way, they actually are wins, because I talked about earlier that I'm prepared for to lose 30R this week, but when I have a trade that is a break even, that is automatically, now that 30R max loss for the week is actually 29R, because that's a break even trade. And this other break even trade here on Boeing, it's obviously $4.75 in the red, but that's essentially a break-even trade because that's more due to slippage. Now all of a sudden, for the week, now my max loss for the week is only 28R. So those are, I guess, in that sense, it's a bit of a win. But it and it does, it will reflect a little bit on my win percentage. So the first trade of the day was actually BA. The reason it is second on this the reason it's second on this list is because I I held on to that trade and had jumped into a second trade on BABA. So here, let's take a look at BA. And this was this is what I was talking about. This is an opening range breakout, but you can see that I waited for. I definitely waited. I didn't take a trade within the first minute. I saw that it was building this range right over here, and I was watching it for it to break below this 200 SMA, and when it did, I went short. But I think my error here was that I placed my stop loss really too far. I placed it above the opening price here when really, it would have been perfectly fine. Even here at this S4 level, which is this red line, or even slightly below in this area here. Because had I done that, this would have been a winning trade. My 2-hour profit target was right here. It very nearly hit it. Unfortunately, it didn't. But at that point, my trade management had kicked in, and I'll also share another rule that I'm kind of implementing with this is that instead of moving my stop loss to break even at 1R, I'm waiting now till 1.5R. So around this, that would have been around this level before I move it to break even, because I feel that at 1.5R, if that doesn't hit my profit target and then it comes all the way back to me, especially in an instance where I've given it such a wide, stop loss, then, the trade really is not going to work. So in this particular case, unfortunately, it didn't. I thought it would potentially retest VWAP and even the 200 SMA here and then continue moving down, but it didn't. So this one stopped me out, as you saw on my chart log, and ended up being a break-even trade. Now, the next trade was on BABA, and here I ended up taking 3 trades, and the first 2 did not work. So you can see that BABA, consolidated really in the morning over here, and then it really sold off. When it pushed back up, I was playing a trend continuation play off of this 20 EMA, and when it pushed below this upside down hammer candle, I went short. Unfortunately, it wasn't ready to continue and ended up stopping me out. But when it failed to push above the 50 SMA and push back below this candle here and VWAP, I went short again, and that again, unfortunately, ended up stopping me out. So I was actually going to leave this one alone at this point, but I did kind of watch it as I was scanning for more potential trades, and it really did look weak. It kept getting pushed down, and so I gave it one more shot. When it pushed back below, when it failed to, and it wicked off of the opening price here and this 100 SMA on the 1 minute here, and it pushed back below VWAP, I went short again. And then, sorry, let me just move this over. So I ended up having to hold on to this for quite some time as it consolidated around VPOC over here for quite a while. It eventually did break down, and because you know, I was unsure what it was going to do when it broke this particular area here. I ended up taking a partial here, and then it finally did push below my where my original 2R profit target was. So I took a 50% partial there. But because this wouldn't have been a 2R trade at that point, and I still felt based off of the level 2 that it was weak, I held on to this, and I did manage to actually get another leg down below low of day, and that was this was my all out over here. And with that all out where it was, I managed to get 2.1, or you know, about 2.1 R off this trade. So I was happy with that. And then after that, that was 5 trades for the day, and my last trade was on Mara. And this, if you know, if I'm going to say, this was the only trade for the day that I felt was disappointing for me. So we have an election going on here in Canada. So I had, after that last trade, it was getting into that time that I was talking about at the beginning of this recap, that I didn't feel I had much of an edge. So I wanted to give the market some time to develop, and I had to go to the polling stations anyways. So I did go. I went out and I went out to vote. And I came back, and when I came back, I saw the entire market. So let me just actually, let's take a look at the SPY here. This is the SPY, and I came back and I saw this sell-off right over here. And there were a ton of other, almost all the other stocks on my watch list were selling off in that manner. So let's go back to Mara. Mara was at that point had just pushed below VWAP, and it threw this candle and it pushed up, and when it failed to hold above VWAP, I thought it was going to continue to move down just with the rest of the market. And there were a ton of oh sorry, I'm putting the arrows in the wrong place. This is where this is the candle where it failed to push above VWAP, and so I went short here because there were a ton of bids here at 33, and I really felt that, and there was another lot, a big lot here at 33.30. So I thought there was definitely a big possibility for this to push down. I should have, and the disappointing thing is I really feel that I probably should have been a little bit more patient here, because I literally ran in from getting back from voting and I saw that sell-off, and I didn't want to miss this particular opportunity. And I just feel that I needed to take this in a little bit and let it mature a little bit more, because I should have realized that if everything else had sold off and Mara had not quite yet, even though it looked weak, that it was probably going to defend in this area and maybe even bounce, which it did. And unfortunately, it did stop me out here I had moved my stop loss already because of this consolidation. I kind of lost a little bit of confidence in the trade. I moved my stop loss to just above VWAP over here. So I ended up taking, I think, a 0.25 R loss on this. But and you can see though that eventually it did sell off, and it would have eventually hit my profit target, which was right around just above this $33, but I never would have weathered this type of a pullback. So in any case, those were the trades for the day. And I'm not gonna lie, although I really I wanted to take more trades, I had to exercise that discipline, and I got to take it one day at a time. So today, I'm happy that I did. And when it's all said and done, I finished the day at, I think that puts me at just below, 0.4 R, or just below 0.5 R loss for the day. I'll take that, because, going back, if I was prepared for a 30R loss for the week, today would have been a max of 6R loss. Realistically speaking, now my max loss for the week is now just over 24R. So, that is, again, it's just a different way of looking at it. Instead of looking at every day as, I need to profit. I had, it was prepared money that I feel I anteed up, so to speak. And today was a win in many ways for me. And I'll take that. And ultimately, I'm building a data set to make the proper adjustments so that I am a much more consistent and a much more profitable trader in the long run. So hopefully you like that. If you have any questions or comments about that, please, comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And until the next recap, this is AJ on Day Trader Boom or Bust, signing out. Cheers.